Hello everyone, welcome back. So there's this particular video that I would love you guys to watch from this Black American man, what he said concerning Ndi Igbo and also what Igbos are going through in Nigeria, the level of humiliation, marginalization after the war, and the reason why Igbos will never forget Biafra war. Just take a listen and hear everything that he said in this particular video.
So you mean to tell me I could read 50 books, almost 100 books, go back and spend years of my time devoting myself to learning the history of Black people, tracing it all the way back to Enugu and Igbo land, just to find out that they've been suppressing Igbo education, suppressing Igbo skills, teachings, suppressing Igbo history, suppressing Igbo everything. And then as soon as I'm in a place in the world that doesn't suppress my education and I can go on the internet and talk about it, y'all gonna come out the woodworks and argue with me about this is wrong, that is wrong. This is what we know. Y'all was gonna let the Igbos get erased. Millions of Igbos died in the Biafra war. Millions of Biafrans died. Millions of people who was rolling with the Igbos died in the Biafra war. And over what? Because you were trying to force Igbo land to pay for Nigeria, a country that was created by England, which is why y'all all bond over English, because England created you. England created Nigeria the same way England created America, and I can speak English. But I'm Black. The first Black language is Haitian Creole, if we want to be honest. Okay? And I'm Black by way of the Igbos. I know who I am. And when I talk about my history, y'all want to come on here and say that not only am I wrong, the Igbos are wrong. The Igbos are wrong about how many of y'all basically tried to just let us get extinct. We wrong about what? What are we wrong about? You mean to tell me that y'all was trying to defend the Igbos? Because this is one thing I noticed. Y'all don't say nothing nice about the Igbo people. Y'all come on here and argue about what's right and what's wrong, but I don't see none of y'all saying any compliments about the Igbos, nothing. Y'all don't even mention the fact that Igbos was fighting to free themselves from whatever y'all was about to go with because you knew the Igbos was going to have to pay for it with their land anyway. Igbos got all the oil and the coal and the best business marketing, so we going to make them pay for it. And the Igbos was like, well, let me correct that. The Biafrans was like, we don't have to do that. It's our money, our land. You're not going to make us pay for your venture capitalist country called Nigeria. No, we're not doing that. So then the rest of Nigeria, let it happen. And if we would have won, if Biafra would have won that civil war, man, you'd be surprised how many people would have been like, I always knew the Igbos could do it. I always knew. But guess what? You feared what the Igbos were going to do if they were victorious. So people had to help destroy the Igbos. It's the same thing happening in America. It's the same thing happening around the world. Nobody wanted the Igbos to lead. And why? Because that's just the way of the world. I guess the world fears Igbo-ness because everywhere the Igbos go, someone's trying to stop them, and God has to step in the way to prevent us from being completely destroyed. Because guess what? They didn't even just shoot the Igbos. They were massacring innocent Igbo people all over Nigeria to the point that they had to flee to Biafra. Biafra became the only place that Igbos and Igbo-like, and those who connected with the Igbos to go to be safe. You were trying to erase us. Don't you? Y'all got to understand this. This is why the Igbos don't get over it, because you was going to let millions of children get massacred. You was going to let millions of innocent people go and die of famine and sickness and disease. You was going to do that. Why? Because the Igbos had something you wanted, which was land, oil, natural resources. You didn't care what happened to the Igbos and the Biafrans. You didn't care. The same thing is, again, like why I mentioned Haiti. Everywhere that God places the Igbos, the land is blessed. That's why look at Haiti. Y'all seen the video about Haiti's connection to Biafra and Igbo land. So what does Haiti have? A whole lot of material in that ground, and they don't want to give it up either. So what's happening? Haiti's being upended. Accept your Igbo-ness and understand we cannot allow this, dog. You guys have to know who you are. Stop coming on here arguing about the states that Europeans carved. You're not from England. You're not an Englishman. And if you read about the Englishman's journal and the English history, they'll tell you, yeah, we invaded Igbo land for the land. We wanted the resources. We wanted to create companies that were going to take the oil out the ground and we were going to get paid for it. And as soon as Biafra didn't want to let us do what we wanted to their things, we decided to just create a civil war. And that's where Biafra learned the only way to protect yourselves is with a military. And that's why it had to be a military attack. Militaries had to get involved to protect the interests of Biafra. And that is why all these other nations ganged up to destroy Biafra. Everybody's looking at the incidents where the Igbos killed this guy and they killed that guy. If that were the case, do you think that was worth 5 million Igbos' death? Is that really how y'all feel? Because of the start of a civil war, you're going to take 5 million Igbos off the planet and starve them to death, creating a blockade, or make the Igbos kneel to the will of Nigeria, which is basically the will of Europeans. And the Igbos and Biafrans are looking at everybody like, are y'all going to let this happen? They just going to come in here and do this to us? Nah, we finna stand on 10 toes. And who else came to our support? And now that I'm talking about the history, y'all on here telling me be informed, this and that. Bro, you be informed. Go to some Igbos and compliment them on their strength for standing up against the Europeans, unlike a lot of y'all. Go to somebody who claimed Biafra and thank them for being strong and believing in their own independence, because Nigeria, even though it's separate from England, it is not independent from England. We know this. We know this. As soon as the Europeans want to hop back into Nigeria and tell y'all what to do, they're going to do that. And Biafra was an example of what happens when you try to stand up to England. And we didn't know how big the European superpowers were. But guess what? The same thing that happened in Haiti, it took the Spanish, the French, and the English to stop us. The same thing happened in Biafra. The Dutch did that. The French did that. The English did that. The Portuguese did that. 4 mega nations ganging up against Biafra, and then everybody want to tell Biafrans that we wrong. We wrong for this. Bro, get y'all asses up out of here, bro. Igbo Kwenu. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm going to really do a deep dive on the military structure, because see, what I was going to do was just go over the history of the war, who got killed here, like very simple so that everybody could get it. But after reading all the hate in the comments, we about to get hyper specific. I'm about to talk to y'all about where people was born so that you can understand who really had allegiance and who did not. Why in the earth did we strike first? Bro, there's so many books about Biafra and why they try to remove it, because Igbos documented everything that they had to do because so many people was coming against them. This is insane how many people was not supporting Biafra and trying to be independent. And the whole time, y'all were disagreeing with the borders that originated Nigeria in the first place. But as soon as Biafra gets made, y'all want to get mad. That's crazy. And I'm thinking that England is the only problem that Nigeria ever had, bro. There's so much internal power struggles in Nigeria that I be wanting to say it's disgusting, but bruh. And then the worst part is they don't even tell y'all. Y'all aren't even allowed to know what's going on. You're not allowed to know how this happened and how that happened, but only the people who are living closest to the massacres are trying to get their message out. And like, yo, Biafra was stopped. It was stopped because it was going to do something that the European powers did not want to happen in West Africa. And now a lot of people don't even want to even mention the fact that millions of Igbos and millions of Biafrans were killed for fighting for the very thing that you like about the Europeans, that they're independent, that they got their own stuff. Why can't you have your own shit? That's what Biafra was about, protecting what's yours. It belongs to you. You're not mad at the European nations for literally dismantling your whole nation, but you mad about the Igbos for telling you about it. That makes no sense. So either you compliment the Igbos or get the hell up out of here. I'm not arguing with none of y'all asses. So many millions of Africans in the Biafra section were smacked to death, all because they were not allowed to be independent. But all these other nations get to have independence. No. We're going to talk about all of this. Oh, yeah. This ain't right.
So, my people, that is it. I hope you guys heard what he said here. The truth is that Igbos are blessed. This is the reason why some people feel intimidated whenever they hear about Igbos, not just in Nigeria, also all over the world. This is the reason why Britain supported Nigeria to buy over 5 million Biafrans and also refused Igbo man to become the president of Nigeria after Nigeria Biafra war, right? Because they know very well that if Igbo man become the president of Nigeria, something must change in Nigeria. Nigeria must be liberated. But these people don't want that to happen because they want to continue making Nigeria as usual. And right now, they are talking about recruitment in army. Why is Igbo youth not joining? Like they did not see all that juicy position in Nigeria, but they are not talking about recruitment in army. This to show you that these people are deliberately and intentionally doing whatever they are doing to Igbos in Nigeria. Even what caused Nigeria Biafra war continue, they even double it. The level of marginalization, humiliation Igbos are going through in Nigeria right now is unbelievable. And also some people talking about let's move on, let's forget about what happened in the past, this and that. Like there's no way you can move on without justice. People are still interested to truly know what caused the war, which they're even asking Gowon to come out, to tell us what really happened. So there's no way Igbos or Biafrans can move on without justice. So my people, I make I bring this update to you guys. I hope you heard everything that he said here. Do well to subscribe if you haven't, shared the video, and also leave your thoughts in the comment section. I will see you guys in my next update. Goodbye for now.
Welcome to Chamber Seniors TV.